Shalom. Starting out giving all glory and praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akums and the Philakos pushing the truth. It's the brother Yashar coming in from the camp, choosing light with the tenth episode, chapter 10, Wisdom of Solomon, the breakdowns. Alright, so we're gonna get into it. To brief this, chapter 10 is gonna go up go into some detail on our forefathers. The scripture speaks about the prophets of old, which is our forefathers, Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Ezekiel, all the prophets of old, specifically the Old Testament, and even the New Testament. Those are our forefathers as well. Those are us still in the spirit, because if you go to Jude, let's see, Jude 1 and 7. It's Jude 1 and 7 or 2 and 7. Let's get this precept real quick. And Jude was Yahweh Shai's, it's only one chapter. He was Yahweh Shai's blood brother. Okay. Let's see. Jude 1 and 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, after destroyed them that believe not. Okay. In verse 5, when he says, I will therefore put you in remembrance, that's going into reincarnation, because it says, though you once knew this. So in 70 AD, we was in the same, Judites and Benjaminites, with the other nation, the other tribes of Israel, that was at the time in Jerusalem, in the land of Judea. We was them same spirits, them same men and women that some of us was able to escape, a lot of us wasn't able to escape. Same thing with the Babylonian Empire, okay. Same thing with the Assyrian Empire, the Northern Kingdom, when they told King, what's his name, Belteshazzar, that they was finna go to their own land and do their own thing, which ended up being the Americas, the New World at that time, the New World, okay. Them was the same Northern Kingdoms that we see today. Your neighbors and your family members and your friends and the people that you encounter on your everyday life, okay. Because it's called reincarnation. So with that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into that chapter 10 of Wisdom of Solomon. So it starts to say, she preserved the first formed father of the world that was created alone and brought him out of his fall. And that she is speaking on wisdom. And that the first formed father, we know this Adam. And gave him power to rule all things. But when the unrighteous went away from, what does it say? But when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. So now it's gonna flip the script, which is, you're not really flipping the script, but going through the genealogy of our forefathers. So it went from talking about Adam, first verse, how he was formed, how the Most High Yahweh formed Adam, and then came Eve. And then the second or the third verse, when it says, but when the unrighteous went away from her in his anger, he perished also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. That's transitioning to the story of Cain and Abel, all right? Because we know Cain was jealous of Abel because he was favored by God. And what did he do? He killed him, okay? And that represents Esau and Jacob. Because in the camp, we just did on the camp channel, with the elder, the elder brought it out. I think he led with that topic, and how you just had the black dude in New York get transported from the prison to the hospital, and somehow, not even we know how, but he ended up dying. For you to go 2 days of, beating somebody and they die the third day, that's like, you got to do a lot to them. That ain't just no slaps and a couple jabs here and a couple punches. No, you actually beating the motherfucker, and meaning you ain't probably gave him no water, no food, nothing. Like, the body can only go through so much before it gives out. So, but it's cool though. He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. So, I ain't gonna say have fun with it because it's not nothing funny. But Esau, your time is coming to where we gonna do what you did to us, doing to us. We gonna do it to you for 1,000 straight years. You know, we gonna be in almighty power. Okay. Anyways, back to the lesson, chapter 4. It's like in verse 4. For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it. Now, when was the earth drowned with the flood? Noah. Okay, this the story of Noah. Verse 4. For whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it, and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. Right, because remember, when they say wisdom again preserved it, because remember they was talking shit to Noah, like, oh man, you spent all that damn time and many years building the ark. You been, matter of fact, how many years did Noah spend building the ark? Did Noah build the ark? It took around 120 years, right, for Noah to build that ark. So imagine that. We don't even live to 120 no more. We barely even live to 70. All right, and that's the spirit because I'm watching TV or looking at TV in the background to show a dead body. But we don't even, you know. So if you watching, man, if you watch somebody build something for 20 years, if your neighbor been working on his car, you 25 years old, and your mom tell you, do you know that man been working on his car since he was 5 years old and he never started? You wouldn't even really believe that. You'd be like, for real? For what? Well, maybe one day he think he gonna start it. And then 5 years from then, 30 years, just say he opened the garage one day and that motherfucker, now it's a top 10 hot rod in America. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't spend so much time and dedication and patience building and crafting. Now he reap what he sowed. Reap the fruits of his labor. Same thing with Noah, because had to put it in a worldly perspective real quick. But same thing with Noah. He spent all that time obeying the Most High Yahweh and sticking to building that ark. When the earth was destroyed, who was the only people saved? The ones that was tending to that ark. All right, Noah and his wife, Naamah, his 3 sons, Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and they 3 wives. So that's 8 people. So verse 5, moreover, the nations in their wicked, it's like, because I'm reading out my book to make sure I get everything. Moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous and preserved him blameless unto God, and kept him strong against his tender compassion toward his son. When the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man. Okay, and just real quick, this is transitioning to Lot's story. Salakia, verse 5 is transitioning to Lot's story. So you go from Noah, verse 4, to Lot, verse 5. It say, moreover, the nations in their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous and preserved him blameless unto God, and kept him strong against his tender compassion toward his son. Right, because the Most High, we his children, so he has that love for us, that everlasting love for us, unconditional love for Israel only though. Okay, and the story of Lot can be found in Genesis chapter 19. That whole chapter, verse 6, when the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire, which was actual fire and brimstone, because you can look it up. In the cities, the 5 cities was Sodom and Gomorrah, and the 3 other cities in Genesis 19 chapter. If you go Google, it'll tell you, yes, from archaeologists and finding different rocks and minerals and all that, they tell you it was actual fire and brimstone, sulfur, all them chemical and elemental elements, all them chemicals and elements mixed together, coming down from the heavens to rain fire and brimstone on the cities. And that was the ancient way of doing it. Now Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said this time is gonna be with ICBM missiles. So that's that times a million. If you want to be for real. Verse 6, when the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire which fell down upon the 5 cities. of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony. Right, that's what I was just saying. You can go, you can still go, you can look it up. And matter of fact, let's go to the Google. Proof that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. Because it's one thing to talk about it, but when you keep talking about it, you kind of got to go to it. You know, scriptures tell you to prove all things. So it says there is archaeological evidence that a meteor or comet likely destroyed the ancient city of Tal el Hammam, which may have been the biblical city of Sodom. Melted pottery and mud bricks, smashed bones, ash, charcoal, pulverized mud bricks, sheared off walls, millions of missing mud bricks. Okay. They say the evidence suggests that a space rock, which we know it was, just fire from the heavens, or it could have, been, brimstone. That's rock. Exploded about 2.5 miles above the city, creating a blast 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb used at Hiroshima. So basically, shit, they got hit with an ancient missile. Yahweh Shah, the Most High Yahweh said, "Here, I'm gonna give y'all a taste of Judgment Day. Give y'all a little taste of it. Taste his missile." And I guess that's the the aftermath, right? Yeah, you see, they never built that city back up. Look at you got the small heads. Oh, there ain't no small heads. Edomites. Anyways, just wanted to prove that real quick. Back to the scriptures. Verse 8. Verse 7. Of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony, and plants bearing fruit that never come to ripeness. See, they never was able to build nothing. Same America gonna be the same way. And a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul. Who is that unbelieving soul? Let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse 32 real quick. And we're going to get the picture. We're getting all the facts, all right? It says, I'll start at 29. But the same day that Lot went out from Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed, right? We just talked about that. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away, and he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Right, because it ain't gonna be no point in running from no nuclear missile. All right. Verse 32. Remember Lot's wife, and who was turned into that pillar of salt? That was Lot's wife. And guess what? All I gotta do is type in on Google Lot's wife, and what happened? Pillar of salt. Look at that. Yeah, that was an actual woman that got hit with a supernatural power and turned to a pillar of salt. You know what I'm saying? So you better stop playing with the Most High. All right. And basically, when it say a woman who was turned into a pillar of salt for disobeying God and looking back at Sodom as she and her family fled, because think about it, that's basically like yep, you can see it say choosing down here, choosing a worldly life over salvation. Right, so there's basically Lot's wife, that was her looking back, was metaphorically about like her looking back towards the world, leaving the truth for the world. Because remember, she told Lot, she said, you might as well just curse the Most High, you can die. You going through all this shit. Curse him and die, fuck it. That's all we got left anyway. The city finna be destroyed. He ain't look back. That's why he was preserved. But guess what? She looked back. Because she looked back at? She looked back at her family and all her friends and whatever occupation she was doing, and all her land that her husband had, and the chickens and the goats and farm. Because remember, Lot was rich. She looked at all those, they're rich and treasures, all that mammon. Damn, where we finna go now? This shit all getting destroyed. That's called losing faith. All right. So we pray that we don't lose faith. So we're gonna speed it up a bit, but I'm not doing too bad because it is a lot to talk about. So we actually gonna stay on coast, stay on tempo. We'll see. Verse 8. For regarding thy wisdom, they got not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind them to the world a memorial of their foolishness, so that in the things wherein they offended, they could not so much as be hid. So I'll read that again. For regarding not wisdom, so that's the scriptures, they gat not only this hurt, so not only did that happen to them in the ancient days, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind them to the world a memorial of their foolishness. And that's what Jake is nowadays. He the main topic of foolishness and folly out here. All right, from your ditties to your athletes to everybody, all your celebrities. A memorial of their foolishness, so that in the things wherein they offended, they could not so much as be hid. Right. That's why motherfuckers come out, man, my cousin, he gay, he like men, so shit, if he like that, I ain't saying I like it, but I ain't gonna disrespect him, and that's his choice. And nigga, you know damn well you was raised to not go that way, right? We men to go with women, women go with men, right? Come on now, we know that from scriptures. Even if you wasn't even raised in the Bible, a household, you already know that that's just a normal rule in life, bro. You know what I'm saying? So why you gonna sit there and try to defend them? You know, that make me think you is one. I ain't gonna speak too much on that, 'cause, you know, flags be flag on the play. But anyways, you know, it's like man, I know rappers, they be talking about or it's like rappers, like when the motherfucker asks your favorite rapper, well, yeah, how do you feel about the, you know, the violence in the city, and, you know, about like the violence, and, you know, do you think it's ever gonna calm down? And, you know, the mamas, they tired of losing their sons, and they be 15 and the rappers be like, what they say? Well, you know, I mean, it's just the streets, you know, and, you know, the street, that's how the streets go. And they be like, well, what do you do to stop it? You know, what do you like? Are you, you know, promoting like stop the violence? Like, you know, what are you doing about it? Well, you know, I ain't really, you know, I be on the road, and, you know, I can't be focusing on too much in my city, but, you know, I be, you know, and I be sending money, and, man, basically you trying to hide your, basically what you saying is, I don't give a fuck about what they doing, because it's paying me, and as long as it's paying me, I ain't really too much tripping and trying to speak on what a motherfucker doing, because why would I do that? To stop my payment? So, that's just that's just the basically the motto of the world, you know. That's the normal now. Alright? A lot of wickedness, foolishness. Verse 9, but wisdom delivered from pain those that attend upon her, right? And that's us in this truth. You know, we get to dodge all them getting shot in the street, you know what I'm saying, and all that bullshit. We get to dodge all that, you know. Angels is working with us because we on the winning team, working with Yahweh Shah, working for him, being his servants. Verse 10, when the righteous fled from his brother's wrath. Okay, now this is going into David and Saul, okay? The story of King David and Saul. Remember, King David, if you read 1 Samuel chapter 17, 18, 19, King David fled from King Saul multiple different times, you know? King Saul tried to kill him with King David was playing the harp one chapter, and King Saul threw a spear at him, and David weaved it, you know? He sent some men, his own men, to kill King David, so he wanted the man dead, you know? For a lot of things. You know, but King David, not a lot of things that King David did, but ultimately really just for jealousy, you know, that Satan had got up on him. Let's see, verse 10, when the righteous fled away from his brother's wrath, she guided him in right paths and showed him the kingdom of God, and gave him knowledge of holy things, and made him rich in his travails, and multiplied the fruit of his labors. Right, it's King David, you know, his whole story. And the covetousness of such as oppressed him, that's Saul. She stood by him and made him rich. She defended him from his enemies, and kept him safe from those that lay in wait. And in a sore conflict, she gave him the victory, that he might know that godliness is stronger than all. When the righteous was sold, now last but not least, this is going into us in our different captivities. You know, what happens when you a slave? You get sold from one person to another, okay? And that person you sold to, that becomes your master. When the righteous was sold, she forsook him not, but delivered him from sin. She went down with him into the pit, and left him not in bonds till she brought him the scepter of the kingdom, and power against those that oppressed him. As for them that had accused him, she showed them to be liars and gave him perpetual glory. And that's going to be talking about, we got to go through all the captivities in this current one that we in order to get to the kingdom. Get that power over our oppressors and over our enemies. Verse 15. Salakia. Okay, stay on point with the scrolling down. 15. She delivered the righteous people and blameless seed from the nation that oppressed them. She entered into the soul of the servant of the Lord and withstood dreadful kings in wonders and signs. She rendered to the righteous a reward of their labors and guided them in a marvelous way, and was unto them for a cover by day and a light of stars in the night season. Now remember, in Egypt we walked 40 days, not 40, walked 40 years in the wilderness in Egypt, all right? Okay, and a lot of Israelites, they wanted to go back to Egypt. They complained. Because remember, we even had the other nations was walking amongst us too. A few of them, they was following us. And they was like, man, fuck this. We might as well go back to Egypt, where we was just working for Pharaoh and shit, and under his little, captivity, his kingdom. So a lot of Israelites, they did that. They broke off, branched off. But then you had a lot that stayed. Because they trusted in the Lord, and Moses was their king. Verse 17. Verse 18. Brought them through the Red Sea and led them through much water. Right? Yahweh parted the Red Sea for the Israelites and destroyed Pharaoh and his army. But she drowned their enemies and cast them up out of the bottom of the deep. Therefore the righteous spoiled the ungodly and praised thy holy name, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and magnified with one accord thine hand that fought for them. Verse 21, for wisdom opened the mouth of the dumb and made the tongues of them that cannot speak eloquent. Okay, and to get one precept on that last verse meant, because shit, we ain't gotta be the best speakers in the world. We ain't gotta graduate from no theological seminary or we ain't gotta take no etiquette classes and speech classes. If you do that, you do that. That's just, making yourself, stronger socially. It's good to have social skills, but you ain't gotta be no damn, Harvard student, Harvard lawyers. So shit, we in this truth. We just, the Spirit is what gives us that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be able to pronounce certain words and, be able to say things properly. We ain't no English professors. But guess what? We is the salt of the earth. And Jacob is the form of all things. So we actually, a lot of brothers, even before we came to this truth, hey, we was, excelling in school and A and B students, A students. But none of that shit matter anyways, man, because this the true school. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 4. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the power of the Spirit and of power. Okay? That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Right. So with that being said, once again, hey, don't matter how a brother do it, get it done. If you was edified, from this video or whoever's video, that's the main point. So with that, hope you brothers edified from watching. Till next time, chapter 11 coming up. Shalom.